idea of that, and they tend to believe it, you know. Like, do you believe Michael Jackson was a pedophile? I mean, people who really listen to his music would know, you know. The people who like his songs, and then onto a big entertainment about it, would obviously sort of sway, from like to this, like, they don't really know or appreciate the truth. And in that kind of way, you'd sort of say to yourself, it's just like, what can you do about it? Where does it all end? Like, and I kind of think in myself, the spiritual journey that I'm on is like, a lot of it happens internally for myself. It's not really a physical problem that I have, but it affects my physical reality. Like different things. And on the slow sea squiffiskay is like, in my spiritual journey, I mean, any way that people can take advantage of me, they seem to. And it's very hard. But then with my particular journey, that there is the resurrection. So you kind of think it's like, you really kind of still think that that's going to happen. No. But I know it is. And on the slows is like, where there is sort of thoughts and kind of thinking you're overcoming incredible difficulties day to day from what you would see. And what is causing them yourself, to blame me, kind of is a notion, It has the logic to reason, and you believe it. We all could say we believe it too. Necessarily, it's like, what we don't necessarily believe is the evidence itself, and how it is sort of better off in our mind to leave the evidence out rather than to fully accept it, to believe it, to mean it. As they sort of say, when your evidence becomes just, we just don't mean it, and when it isn't, then we do. And in the way that they explain it, there are reasons that make sense about it. Like, like, if you want, you can tie everything back to the color blue, like the sky, everything is blue in that way. The ocean, resounding proof. The green trees, not the case in that way, depending on what you want to believe. And then you sort of say, yeah, if the sky was really everything, I don't know. I mean, in the way that you want to believe it, you'd sort of say to the slaves, it's like, even your t-shirt, Tom, is blue. Like, what am I going to argue about? You kind of be like, yeah, kind of comes across that way. A lot of notions kind of add up, and pretty fast the picture is painted, Whether it's true, I don't know. I mean, talk about my art for a second, I suppose. When I was a painter, I used to see paintings out of the corner of my eyes, in rooms, and I had a kind of a curiosity, which I think a lot of people have, a natural curiosity, or even a kind of an obsession, if you like, a compulsion to see what painting it is, and if it is a good painting, I would always have a look, and if it was in the corner of my eye and I couldn't quite fully see it, my mind would imagine the picture, and I would begin to think, is that? And that incredible picture that I was hoping it would be. And I'd go over to it and be like, oh, no, it's not. I mean, it never was really the one that I imagined. But in that kind of way, I suppose, you can kind of believe that a creative genius like myself was constantly looking for my own art in other people's work, and that I never found it until one day I actually did, which was pretty weird because it blew my mind. It was if I painted these hundreds of pictures, like they looked exactly like the work that I would do. And I think it was, I don't know who it was, but it was on YouTube. And I thought it was brilliant art. And in a way, it kind of broke my heart, really. But I mean, you just never know. I mean, the way that I sort of think about these pictures after all those years is that nobody could ever imagine them. And when someone sort of clearly had, I began to kind of think, wow, what does that mean? I guess it's kind of humbling, and I just had to kind of recover from that, to rehabilitate from it, and to get back to my own vision of art. As I said, it did go quite a way off course after that. I wasn't really painting pictures at that time. And then I had some troubles in kind of thinking, like, am I ever going to get around to like painting these pictures? And necessarily is like, maybe not, I don't know. So anyway, that's about that for now. And I'd sort of say to the Schlaze, because Feezy is like, just finish it. Say goodbye and everything. And as I would remember, I had talked about like maybe the reason why spiritual leaders, teachers, beings, gurus, um, become, you know, um, miss exactly. Criminals and pedophiles, rapists, liars, crooks, and indeed there are many false gurus who are exactly that. So what can you do? And somewhere in the middle of that, I was kind of talking about the idea of kind of filling in with your imagination what is supposedly something that you perceive or believe about real life. You know, as in this guy walked in and he smelled a drink. He was wearing a jacket and there was big stains on the jacket. And, he had like this funny looking hair, it was like dreadlocks or something. And he kind of turns around and he's like, hey, it's in like, whatever, dude. And then he sits down and he starts fucking coughing and whatever it is, like, we just thought so rude.